Hey everyone, so I got this 1979 Moto Ski 1. Moto Ski 1, or Moto Ski Mirage 1. Got it at auction. First thing, problem was the key didn't work. I had no key, so I had to buy a new ignition key, which was like, I don't know, 30 bucks on Amazon. Put that in, no spark. Check for spark first. There was a very low spark, but then there was no spark. Took the coil off, sanded the coil, put it back on, nothing. So then I took the coil off, I took it into a shop, I had them test the coil. They said it was okay, but the line was bad. It wasn't getting continuity in the line. So I purchased a new line, new head, new boot, and had the spark plug, still no spark. So then I moved to moving this down to taking the flywheel off, taking the recoil off, then the flywheel, changing the condenser, and cleaning up the points. So in this video, you'll see me doing that. The first part of the video, I'm sorry, I didn't get very good. The camera angle wasn't very good. Sorry about that, but it does get better. So here we go. Hope you enjoy. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but the condenser is right down here under this wire here, right under the crank. And I think it may have gone bad. I probably just need to do clean up my points here. But while I'm in here, I don't know how long it's been since somebody's been in here. So I'm going to try and take out the condenser without taking out this and affecting the timing. Because if I mess with this, I think I'm going to affect the timing. And some people say you can take a chisel and that. I really don't want to take it out if I can help it. I've been soaking this in penetrating oil around here. It's just a snug fit. And I'm going to undo the solder, put some vice grips on this and wiggle it back and forth, and then get a new condenser, put a socket on it, and then tap it back in place, and then resolder. So I got my gun here heating up. I'm going to take the solder off, and then I'm going to try and twist it back and forth with some vice grips. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully you can see it. I know there's not a lot of videos on here of this, so that's why I thought I'd do a little video showing what it is. It's kind of tough to do it in here like this, but some people say pull the motor, but I don't want to have to pull the whole motor and everything, disconnect everything just to do that. Maybe it is the best situation, but if this doesn't work, then I might have to try that. But the points do look a little bit dirty, so that could be part of the issue too. Okay, I was able to get the solder off. It took a little bit longer, and I kind of messed up the wire a little bit, but I can fix that later. So it was kind of hard to film because it was just I wasn't getting hot enough on the. I wasn't getting it hot enough to get the solder off, so it took a little bit. But now I'm going to try some vice grips on this guy. See if I can get that condenser out. Sorry if my hands are in the way. She's a bit of a bugger. She did not want to come out of there. Just going to wiggle it back and forth. Ever so slightly. Take my time. It is turning. if you guys can see that, but it is turning. Almost had it. Oh, it's really stuck in there. Now, if I had this whole plate out, I could tap it out like they say. There we go. I got it. That's the condenser. And I definitely won't be able to use that one again. See how I've lubed it? So I lubed it over a few days. But that's the condenser, so I'll have to get a new one of those. And then go in there and sand that very finely. You can see that down there. Yeah, so those wires. And then where it goes in the hole, I'll have to sand that and clean it up. But that's the condenser. And then these are my points right up here. Right up here are my points. So let me get a new condenser, let me get that cleaned up. I'm also going to run a little sandpaper over these guys, top and bottom. Just like 300 grit. And then, yeah, this one looks pretty rusty. So this could have failed. I don't know if it failed or not, but while I'm in here, I might as well put a new one in. Okay, I've already sanded right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I cleaned all these up just a little bit, just like that, back and forth with some 220 grit. And then I'm probably going to use a file in here too, but I'm just going to try and get in here with the points. If I can. Yeah, there's like green stuff in there. I think I'm going to use a file. I think that's going to be easier, but just to get in those points and clean them up. I don't think it takes much to clean them up. They just get some grime on them or stuff. Better. So I just got to go get another condenser, wherever I can get that at a auto place, hopefully. I think they're all the same for these kind of engines, single cylinder. But I'll show you where that goes. See See that hole right there? That's where it just sits in there. So I'm gonna run some sandpaper in there and clean it out really well. And then they say you can tap the new one in with a socket on the end of the condenser and just tap it in straight. And then I'll resolder these back on. Because if the condenser's dead, you're not going to get the spark, or you're going to get a very weak spark. So if I'm already in here for $10, whatever it is, condenser, I'm not sure how much they are, I might as well throw a new one in. So that's the plan. Okay, there's our new condenser. So I'm going to try and get a socket that just matches that ridge around here. I'm also going to put some black tape around here so that when I solder it, I don't get any solder on the edge here or anywhere else. I make a nice, and then once I get it soldered, I should be able to pull that black tape back off, whether I need to or not. But I can solder it right into the middle. I don't want anything touching on the sides. So that's it, and we're just gonna get a socket and just tap that in. Okay, I put a little bit of tape just around there so the solder doesn't get in the way, and it looks like a 13mm socket will just go over the ridge here. So that's what I'm going to use to tap it into the slot. So let's try that, and I got myself a little hammer here. So let's try that if I can get you guys in here. Going in. Yeah, I think I'm all the way in. Nice to get that straight, but oh well. Now I just have to get these wires cleaned up and solder them on here. I think what I'm going to try and do is solder them together first. Somehow. Nope. That didn't work. sir. I got one on, I think. Just gotta get the other one on. Okay, I think I got it, guys. What a pain in the butt that was. But I think I got it on there. Well, as you can see, I did get it on there. Not the prettiest job, but it's on there, and I peeled the tape off. It's not coming off. I pried on it, so I think my iron that I used, my soldering iron here, is not the best. So make sure you get yourself a good iron, maybe with a flat tip on it. Would make it a little easier. But you don't want any of this metal touching this metal. You want it just touching the center. So I got it in there. I got my key in here. My points are clean. I'm just going to blow this out with an air compressor, and then let's put the flywheel back on. Here's the flywheel. It's got a couple broken fins, but I'm not going to worry about that right now, unless it doesn't run for some reason. I did go in here with like 320 grit sandpaper, and I'll probably take a little bit of brake clean and on a piece of paper towel and just wipe off the surfaces here. So just sand these down straight and then just wipe them off with brake cleaner. And then I'll put this guy back on and put just my part of my recoil back on, and I might just pull it with a rope to make sure we have spark. So that's the next step. Okay, I got the flywheel back on. It was a little difficult. There's a plate here and it does pop off right here. It does pop off, and then you can't get the flywheel on, I find, unless you put a little piece of cardboard in between the points and then just stick it out here. Once you get the flywheel on, then you pull the little piece of cardboard out, and then it clamps onto the flywheel. But if you don't leave that little gap in there with something and pull it out here, you can't get the flywheel on. At least I couldn't. So I just used a little piece of cardboard. I had it here somewhere. I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, just a little piece chunk, and put it in there, stick it out this hole here, line up your key, and then I had to play with it a couple times, and I finally got the whole thing on. A little hard to videotape, so. Anyway, once you got that on, I'm gonna screw this down, put my coil back on, and we'll see if we got spark. Oh yeah, that's a nice spark. Okay, so in conclusion here, I want to give a few tips on this because this is what I figured out. First of all, I had no spark. So I have the carburetor off. That's a whole other thing. I got to clean the carburetor because this is an auction item that I purchased for like 200 bucks. So it needs some work. But what I came to the conclusion is start with the little stuff first. Like I got this all back together, and I had this spark plug in, and I was getting great spark. As soon as I put it in the head, twisted it in, put a little gas down there, twisted it in, went to fire it up, nothing. 5 pulls, nothing. Pulled it back out, no spark. So then I'm thinking, oh, it's the points again. Because why would it be the spark plug? The spark plug just had spark. So I went on to a couple of forums online, and there was a lot of people that helped me out. You know the ones, thank you very much. Somebody recommended change the spark plug. And I was like, that's not it. That can't be it. I mean, it was just working. Change the spark plug. Now I got spark. You've just seen it. So try the little things first. Even get 2 brand new spark plugs and try it. One could be faulty right from the factory. So try that if that ever happens. If you still don't have any spark, change the boot. That's the next thing. Change the boot. If that doesn't fix it, change the wire going to the coil. If that doesn't fix it, take the coil off. And I took it into a shop and they tested it for me. He said it's not 100%, but he said it should be enough to start the engine and run it, no problem. So I had that tested. But I still didn't have spark. So I sanded off, I took the coil off and I sanded off the grounding points where the coil grounds to the engine. That didn't give me spark. So then I was forced to take off the flywheel, change the condenser because it was rusty, not sure if that was the issue, sanded the points, put everything back together, got spark, lost spark, put a new spark plug in, and away we go. So try that first. Try the simplest things first, the cheapest things first, before you start digging into the engine. It'll save you a lot of time and frustration. You know, point by point. Because the cheapest thing is probably the spark plug at $4, $5. Then your boot, then your wire, and the wire screw in too. That's another thing. Somebody tried pushing the wire in on the old one, and there's a little like thread needle on them. I'll show you an example. There's like a thread needle on them. You just twist them in, and same with the coil, twist them in. But on an old machine, get a new wire, because they're not much. I think this wire cost me $10. The boot maybe cost me $5. Spark plug $4 or $5. Do that first, then work your way to get spark. And then of course your fuel, and it'll fire up. So this was the boot. And you can see there's a little thread, almost like a screw. And it was moved to the side, so that's why it wasn't making contact. And it's rusty. So that screw type has to be right in the middle, and then you just screw that. You screw the cable into there, or you screw the line in there. So this one was rusty and it's all beat up, so time for a new one. I poured a little mixed fuel down the hole cylinder, and I put the spark plug back in, and it fired right up. And then it ran out of fuel, obviously. So try that. I hope this helps. If you found the video useful, please hit subscribe and like below. And once I get this sled running, I'll post another video. So if I do get it running, which I should, I'll post another link to it down here. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope this helps somebody. Ciao for now.